What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the AK Method YouTube channel. Mike and Adam here in the AK HQ, and today we are going to be bringing you through our Tuesday session.
So this is a collab of the bad backs. We are both individuals that, in terms of like hinging, we don't have great capacity to build up over time due to a crash and just due to Adam just having what?
The back of a 40-year-old man.
Back of a 40-year-old man, cool. So we will start off with a focus toward the lower body during this posterior session. So it'll be hamstrings that we'll be looking at first, hamstrings and glutes. So we start off with a seated ham curl. We'll be then moving into the 45-degree hip extension, the trained by JP X Granite collab there, before we move on to the upper body. So we'll be doing a T-bar row, lat focused or neutral grip. We'll be doing a side back eagle row, single arm, and then we'll be finishing off that portion with a single arm lat pull down. Then I'll be doing some behind the body cable curls. Are you going to hop in with me at that point?
I'll do some. Yeah, I'm always down to do extra biceps.
Extra arms, cool. So yeah, like our sessions are very similar, but there's a couple of differences there. It sounds like Adam is just going to hop in with me. So yeah, all good.
Mike's session will take priority a little bit today because he's obviously on prep. So he's prepping for a bodybuilding show in May. Yeah. So his sessions shouldn't really be diverted from at any stage. So I'll take a little bit of a hit today and do his posterior session with him.
Thank you, Adam.
Let's go. Beautiful. And again, let's go. Drive.
Ooh. Good. Drive. All the way through, all the way. Come on, let's go. Good. 3 sets on the seated hamstring curl here. First 2 sets will be in the 8 to 12 rep range, so a little bit heavier. And then our final set is going to be a little bit lighter in the 12 to 15 range. And you will note that as we do this, we're ensuring that we're keeping our lower back pressed into the pad, and that the initiation of the movement is coming by flexing at the knee. So one thing you will see, as people push on and try to force more load or rep progressions, is that they'll start to extend, through the spine, allowing ourselves to come into a little bit more hip extension. And ultimately what ends up happening as we go into hip extension and we're trying to flex at the knee, we're actually not changing the length of the hamstring quite as much. Okay, we want to hold that hip flexion, that degree of hip flexion, as we do the movement, so that the change in length of the hamstring actually occurs via the knee flexion from that extended position.
We're all with it.
Yeah, it's heavy at the top.
It makes you slow down. I think on that one you can get a little bit more. You'll drive it down fast and you can kind of just let it wing up a little bit because it gets so light on the way up. Yeah. So I like the profile of that.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Like obviously heavy in the stretch, drops off, which is what you want
for a hamstring curl like that.
What you want for a hamstring curl. The only thing about that, if you were trying to drive like feeling sensation because it's so heavy at the bottom, that's why Brian loves it.
Yeah, your contraction on that is lovely, but it's because it's so heavy. Yeah. But I don't think
from a hypertrophy.
I think I prefer. Yeah, but even still I prefer that. The only issue with both of them though is they're probably both a bit too light.
Yes, we're not the strongest in this gym, and I've stacked this before, but
that's not hard to stack either.
I'm one off the bottom on that. And I've clients that are stacking it, and it's like a single leg now.
Drive. All the way. Beautiful. Let's go. You're through the hard bar. Drive.
Another month or two.
I don't know, but sometimes I think short mullets look alright. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes I think the longer they go, they can look a bit messy. Depends though. Like I would class like Connor's mullet, Connor McGee. I would class his mullet as like a nice length. I don't think it's that long.
I'm gonna get big long ones. So see that, like see that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like that long, or if not longer at the back.
The back.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be different. You're not gonna know till you have it, are you?
What?
You're not gonna know till you have it.
And then I'm gonna get a blonde stripe in there.
Fuck that. I keep saying I'll do something different with my hair, I'll grow it out, but after a couple of weeks I just go to the barber and say, zoop.
I hold a haircut for about 18 months.
Yeah.
And then get something like ridiculous for a few months, and then
I'd love to say I'm experimental, but I'm not.
it's only hair, like fucking, hopefully it continues to grow back. Is that right, Ush?
So common question we get, guys, when bringing clients through on any sort of hamstring curl is a feeling that they're getting in their calf, which obviously the term hamstring curl makes them feel like they're doing something wrong. But what a lot of people don't understand is that your calf or your gastroc will actually cross up through the back of your knee here. So when Mike is in this position, anything from here to probably around here, around the first 15 degrees of that hamstring curl, your calf is going to be responsible for. So if you are feeling your calf in a hamstring curl, you're not necessarily doing anything wrong. What I would say is you should definitely try and have your toes pointed up towards the ceiling, and that should help as well. But that first 15 degrees, your calf is responsible for that movement.
Let's fucking go, bud. Let's go. Let's go. Yes. Good. Good. Big rep now. One more. Drive. Finish. Good. Oh, okay.
Thank you.
You all good?
Yeah, I'm all good.
Okay. One more point to add on to Adam's as it pertains to if you're feeling the calf within your seated hamstring curl or lying hamstring curl, whatever it is a consideration for tempo. As suggested, as stated by Adam, the first 15 degrees of knee flexion is largely complete by the gastroc as it crosses the knee. If we consider tempo here, when a lot of people feel their calf working a lot is when they really, accelerate hard from the start of the movement. So if you are feeling your gastroc quite a lot or your calf quite a lot, just slow down and build up through your rep. So as you go through that concentric, instead of driving hard from the start, using a lot of gastroc and then not leaving the hamstring with a lot of work to do, slowly build into it, allowing the hamstring to become more and more of a prime mover.
That's very bent knees there, yeah.
Yeah, because of the bent knee.
It just looks mad though, doesn't it?
Like that's, I'm not messing, that is complete glutes, boys. And that is going into Ellie May's program this week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Here, let me try.
It's fucking, honestly, it feels crazy. Okay, second up on the agenda today is going to be the 45-degree hip extension, the collab trained by JP and Granite. So with Adam, I'm just going to get you to start there, Adam. Start into a few reps. We're going to start from the floor with teaching cues. We're going to start with our feet. I like to place a focus on pressing through the big toe, okay, just in terms of stability. And then we want to ensure that we are pressing hard into this pad here, the pad that's going to be around the calf region. We're going to have soft knees, so a little bit of a bend in the knee. In terms of the hip pad, it's going to be set on the upper portion of the quad with enough room for our pelvis and lower back to come around. From there, Adam's going to keep tension through the abs throughout. Keeping tension through the abs, chin down. And the focus from the bottom is to drive the hips or the upper thigh into the pad. Come back down into that stretch position, holding tension and bracing through the midsection. And again, from the bottom, from that full stretch, driving through the pad, through the upper portions of the quad. Now I know why I'm getting such DOMs in my lats.
Lats?
Oh my god.
Do you feel lats there?
Yeah.
You probably just feel more because it's so heavy, yeah.
Like the last 3 weeks I've been getting these DOMs in my lats. Our last like 5 days.
But I wonder, whenever
do you ever notice when you do that naturally, I try not to hold my hands at full length. It's like instinctively you kind of come to here.
A little bit.
Yeah, I don't know why, it's just like,
Yeah.
to make it a bit easier.
One important add-on there to the cueing that I went through initially is in terms of ensuring that we're not driving the stimulus into our lower back. So as I said, we're looking to keep tension on our abs. We're actually going to be a little bit rounded through the spine, and we're going to hold that position throughout the movement, focusing on the hip flexion on the way down, and then driving the hip into the pad to drive hip extension, which is going to give our hamstrings and glutes a lot of stimulus. If we come up too high, beyond our range of hip extension, we're going to run into lower back extension, okay? And that's where you're going to feel your lower back doing a lot of work here. And ultimately, unless the goal is to challenge that, which is okay, if the goal is hamstrings and glute stimulus, we just want to avoid that position. We're not going to come up as high. You know, more range of motion is a good thing in a lot of contexts, but not in the context where we're potentially driving injury. And this is an example of that, especially for us. You know, we haven't got the best lower backs, so we want to ensure that we're coming to full hip extension and not driving stimulus into the back.
So guys, adding on to what Mike said, you can see here the range at which he stops. A lot of people will feel the need to bring themselves up to here, which at that stage is purely going to be your lower back, your QLs taking over. So if the goal of this is hamstring glutes, we want to keep our lower back out of it. There's no need to come any further beyond the range that Mike is coming here if you're looking to target glutes and hamstrings. I think it's ones that you're not familiar with. Sometimes your second top set,
Yeah.
it's better.
If I was doing that in like a month or two's time, I'd be worried.
What?
Like hitting second sets better.
Yeah, no, because yeah, you should be used to it by then. You should know your numbers, but I don't know, are you the same height as me?
I'm taller than you.
Yeah, I feel like I look up at you. The forehead's a lot bigger. No, fuck off. No, but
Did you catch that video? Did he just say he looks up to me?
I physically look up to you. Come here for a sec though, look. That's a first. Hang on. His eyes are so much higher than mine because my forehead is so much longer. Like, that's the only thing that makes the height close.
You definitely got slacked for that in school.
Yeah. So guys, the point of us having this as our second exercise is to be able to load a hinge movement properly. So myself and Mike at the moment, for different reasons, aren't able to RDL or stiff leg deadlift as well as we want. So we're lucky enough to have this special hyperextension here in the gym, but any hyperextension in any gym, this kind of exercise is a really good replacement if you're not able to stiff leg deadlift or RDL and you want to load your hamstrings and glutes in a heavier hinge movement.
Yeah, big rep there, big rep up. Yeah, finish. Good. Very good work.
You go practice. Right, that machine.
It's fucking deadly. It's like, it's literally a crutch for us at the minute. Like I went so long without being able to hinge at all. And I think that this is going to actually provide like a platform for me to hinge again.
Yeah.
You know?
I think also there's going to be less, like, even if you feel like you don't have ego on a stiff leg or an RDL, you're going to have a little bit.
Yeah.
There's no such thing on this.
I should have been lifting 10 kilos lighter than I was when I was doing it, you know? Like,
it's humblingly heavy, like. But that's what I was just talking about when you were starting as well, is that for people like you and me now who can't hinge properly, it's like, but you know, we're lucky to have this, but even like the normal one we have upstairs,
yeah, that's okay.
It's as close as you can get,
you know. But yeah, like the good thing about this one, like there's loads of machines that provide like hip extension machines, but we've got the opportunity to load this how we want. So if we place, you know, the load on the pins at the bottom, we'll get a challenge that's very consistent throughout, but you will find it difficult to get into the fully shortened position. As you get weaker, the challenge is going to be the same, whereas what we've got here is we're loading at the top, which what that will do is it will mean that the load is heaviest at the bottom, and as it comes up to the top it's going to get a little bit lighter, and that's nice for us because that is where we get weaker. It's always as you get into the short position you're going to be weaker there, So this provides that kind of congruent profile between our strength profile of us as an individual and then the resistance profile. One, here, Bar. Go on, Mike. Big one now, big. All the way back. Drive them elbows, drive them elbows. Here. I
didn't know if you were going again there.
No, I think if I went again there, I'm only going to take away from the next set here. Like I would have done half a rep, you would have lifted it up. Yeah. And then I'm wondering why I'm not progressing in my next set.
And also something I'll say at the end as well when we take the plates off, because I can't do it on that, but is you'll see a lot of people will, they'll use their lower back at both extremities, so they'll use their lower back here and they'll fold really far over, which you can see around, and then if your chest comes flying off that pad to here, the only thing that's happening is your lower back is arching. So don't do that if you can. Keep it all focused on your back. As I was explaining earlier, a big issue you'll see with people using a T-bar row is they'll actually start to use their lower back at both extremities of the movement, right? So for example, you'll see here, when we come to the very bottom, you'll see people start to round this position thinking that that's getting them more stretch for the target muscle group, when in reality, if you look from a side profile, all it's doing is lengthening and rounding my lower back. Then the other issue is to try and complete the rep. You'll see people bring themselves to here, which again, as you can see, if Oisin looks behind me, all I'm doing here is basically contracting through my lower back to here. So very important. Again, I'll notice this a little bit more for myself because of my lower back issues, but everyone needs to be cautious here that they're not relying on that lower back to get to stretch at the bottom and to contract on the way up. You should be ideally trying to keep yourself very stable, try and keep your chest position exactly the same, nice tuck in, nice stretch down, without coming to this position here in order to protect that lower back. Yes. Ooh. Good. 11 again, or? 11 again. That's another thing when working unilaterally, guys, is, I think I might have said it before, but just because you got, I know Mike matched there, but just because you get 10 on your left side, if your right side is able for 12 and you're trying to push to failure, you fail. Don't just don't leave your reps in reserve just because you're not going to develop any sort of imbalance from 1 or 2 sets off. So if you're going to fail on one side, fail on the other, no matter how many reps it is.
Right, so with our single arm side X eagle row, what this is giving us the opportunity to do is train the lats in obviously a unilateral fashion, or one side at a time fashion. And the benefit of that in a rowing movement like this is just that we can shift over to the side a little bit. So Adam has shifted over into the working side here, and what that's going to allow him to do is just keep that elbow nice and tight to the body, as opposed to if he was more upright here, that elbow is just going to flare out a little bit more, driving tension away from what we're trying to train, the thoracic or upper portions of the lat muscles. So our rowing movements are going to do that. We're going to have our hands in a position where at the top, hands are going to be at shoulder height, and then as we come down, we're going to depress the shoulder blade, driving that elbow back then, and that's how we're going to get a short lat in this position. So I think the take home is, ensure that your setup is appropriate, understand what the benefits of doing this single arm are, make sure that we're utilizing that, and then ensure that we're taking the movement through both ends of the range, into the full stretch, and then into that shortened position. As I mentioned, depressing the shoulder, driving the elbow back and in line with the body. Further than that, we're going to actually be driving the tension away from target muscles, the lats.
Just a quick one going off what Mike said earlier, and we're talking about target targeting our lats in some kind of in a row like this Cybex one. A really important one is you'll see a lot of people will jump in here, they'll grab the handle, they'll set up perfectly, and then they're just slamming the weight back without actually thinking about what's happening. So he used the word there of scapular depression, which the simple term for that means just pulling that shoulder down. So in order for your lat to shorten properly, you have to be able to bring this shoulder down before you row and tuck that elbow into the side. So again, like I said, you see a lot of people jump in here, they'll set up fine, and then they're just yanking it back without thinking about what's actually happened, without actually feeling what's going on in the lat. So again, shoulder depression essentially means bring that shoulder down, allow it to come down, and tuck the elbow into the side. If you do that and you think about what's happening through your lats, through your back, I guarantee you'll see more growth. I'll actually put that on. I'll do it for you as a present.
Next up, we have the behind the body cable curl. So the behind the body cable curl is a movement that we'll be doing to challenge the biceps in the lengthened position. Having your arm behind the body is going to put your bicep in its most stretched position, and then in order to ensure that we're placing the tension to be at its maximal in that stretch position, we're looking to have the cables around hand height. Okay, if we have the cables down toward the floor, we're actually not going to have that much tension in the stretch position. Bringing them cables up around hand height, I actually like a little bit below that because it just feels a little bit better for me. Having them up at, like literally at hand height, doesn't actually feel that good. So I'm at or about hand height with the cable setup, and then what we'll be ensuring that we're doing throughout the movement is keeping our elbow behind the body, ensuring that as we go down into the eccentric, we're going to get to that fully stretched position, and then as we curl up, we're keeping that elbow back, ensuring not to allow that elbow to travel forward, where we're going to be going into more shoulder flexion and bringing the shoulders into the movement.
I gave myself a good talking to. No more being a fool for you. But I see you in all I remember.
Let's go, lad. Oh, I rested long enough there.
I don't think so.
You know when you go into your first rep and you're like,
yeah.
Back to this meaty music now.
Don't rush your rest period, folks. That's a big one. Give yourself, I always say to people as well with their rest periods, if you're about to start your next set, there should be a little bit of a checklist in your head before you do it. Obviously don't take your rest period 4, 5, 6 minutes, but if your rest period is set for 2 minutes and you take an extra 30 seconds, it's going to really positively affect your next set. Take the 30 seconds because it's probably better than rushing your rest period and jumping into a half decent set where you're leaving growth on the table. So a lot of people, male particularly, will have it as a priority to grow their arms, but you will see the order of exercise, it's always tagged on at the end of the session, and the effort level, because they're tired at that stage of their session, isn't high enough. So you'll see people stop with 3, 4 reps in reserve, and you're not really going to get very far in terms of growth from that perspective. You can see here myself and him, we're both tired, we've both done a good long session, but we're pushing these cable curls all the way to failure as hard as we can. And that's the only way you're going to grow your arms. People are neglecting them as if they're, not that important, but if you really want to grow them, you push them as hard as you would push any other muscle group. So don't neglect them just because they're at the end of your session.
I think that's me done. In fact, it is. So what I have to do now, actually, I'm going to talk about that. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that upstairs. What's in my prep, what I have to do on a day-to-day basis, what the current setup is. So I'll just leave it with that's my session complete.
Finish off, we have 2 sets here, seated calf press. So number one thing I always do is just throw my shoes off. It will allow me to get a little bit deeper because the sole of my shoe won't stop me getting my heel all the way past this platform here. But also if you just don't want to wreck your shoes, if you have a nice pair of shoes, you don't want to destroy them. So really important here that's neglected by a lot of people is the lengthen position for the calves, right? So we know, no news here, that research over the last few years is really pointing towards stretch position, lengthen muscle positions for hypertrophy and muscle growth. No different here. Actually, the calves were the first study that found that to be true. But you'll see a lot of people they'll ego lift this a little bit, and they will basically just stay in this shortened position here, where they're just not getting into a full deep stretch, not getting into the lengthened position. Whereas here, I like to be able to get myself to a position where my heels go further past than my toes, and then you contract and drive all the way up onto the top of your toes. So I also don't like the idea of just staying in the stretch position for the whole thing. I think the contraction is really important as well. So full contraction here, up onto your toes, slowly down, nice deep stretch. You'll feel your gastroc really, really stretch here, and drive, contract onto the top. Oh, it burns. It burns, it burns, it burns. One calves, train them hard as well. Not that I'm the best example of that, but still.
What I believe is absolutely essential non-negotiables for if you want to start a prep. That
There will be stages where performance will tail off, but that shouldn't be till the very end.
yeah. If I had a super drug that I could just like give them on like starting up with me, it would be